Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dads. This week we have on Stephen Bargatze, father of Nate Bargatze. We talk about his career as a magician, how he ended up in Nashville, lots of stories about raising his kids and being a grandpa, and his relationship with his parents and how that influenced him as a parent. We really hope you enjoy the episode.
Well, on today's episode, we have Stephen Bargatze. He is a musician.
Magician.
Man, I was.
He said musician.
Did you say musician? You said
magician.
musician.
I'm
It's
sorry.
magician.
It's
Come on, man.
Magician.
the worst.
No,
Living here in Nashville, that's my life. Growing
magician.
up in the 80s, everybody, I go, what are you,
my
magician?
God.
What
I think I
instrument
said
did you play?
magician.
No, you said you
But
did not.
he
Oh
has.
my gosh.
He.
You did.
You said musician.
But Stephen Bargatze is a magician, and man, I was looking at
There you go.
all of your accomplishments. You have a quite a few of them.
Well, it's okay.
International Brotherhood of Magicians, first place, close up. I caught myself there.
And y'all been doing this since 21,
but-
huh? Okay.
Yeah. Hey, this is the best part. This is the best part. It's we have no structure to it, and we are just two dads that want to have fun.
Okay.
We're not professionals.
Justin, is your son now 3 months old?
Yes.
Or okay,
Wow.
so I'll give him some grace. He has a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old. So the fact that he's awake and sitting up right now, I feel like is impressive for him.
And a full-time job of being an operations manager
Yeah.
for a landscape company. So
for me, just knowing that you had a 3 months and a 3, knowing their ages, that's a win-win. You're way ahead of the game than I was. I still can't name all my kids' birthdays and stuff, and grandkids and stuff. I have an idea when they're getting close, but I'm not
there you
that
go.
guy.
Does your wife have like a family calendar that has like birth dates on it?
No, my wife has an unbelievable brain, and her dad was the same. She worked at a bank, and she knew probably about 30 people's bank accounts. I mean, their whatever that number you have to write down, their account numbers. When they walked in, she would get the thing out and she would write their numbers down.
Wow.
She was totally amazing. She can still do it. And her memory of dates, and if she met you one time and you say, well, my daughter's birthday, then next time she goes, I think it's her birthday. It's unbelievable. And so that makes me terrible, because why should I have to? I just look at her.
Yeah. Just go to
Say,
her.
tell me when it's something close.
I mean, as long as you were there for the births of your children, right? That's what I would fall back
okay.
on.
All right, we're not going to talk about that either.
Oh man.
No, I was there for all of them, but one of them I left early
Did you really?
because I was in a softball championship tournament, and everybody was fine. And I've been sitting there for 5 hours, and she was born in the morning, so we were just sitting there. And my team saying, we really need you. And Carol was on drugs, asleep. And I go, she'll never know. I'll be back in 2 hours. Oh, no. Everybody knows. I have to hear about that all my life.
I was going to say, I bet she never let you down and let that down.
No, never. You'd have thought, And does she care if we won or lost? No. No one cares.
Did you win though?
Yeah.
No.
No, we didn't.
Oh, no.
I did not make the difference. It wouldn't have mattered.
That's the real disappointment of that story, is that if you're gonna miss the birth, at least win the game,
And I didn't miss the birth.
Okay,
I saw all that. This was the
After the birth.
Yeah, it was 5 hours after
Okay,
the
good,
birth.
good,
It was
good,
a pretty good little while and stuff. So I was there, but I always managed to be there. Yeah, when they were all born.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Stephen, are you originally from the greater Nashville area?
You know what? Good question. My whole family is from the greater Nashville
Nice.
thing. But I mean, my parents, both family was here. But my mom got in some trouble when she was a teenager, and she ended up running away and went to Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
And that's where I was born and raised. And when I got a teenager, I thought I'd make her feel special. I got in trouble, and I ran away back to Nashville. And so I came down here with my cousin, Ron Bargatze. He was a coach at Vanderbilt. And so he kind of took me in and showed me turned my life around for real. Him and his wife Melinda, but they were fantastic, and so this is definitely so raised all my kids here and all of that. But I met my wife in Louisville. We met in the 8th grade. I met her
wow.
with a "Do you like me" letter. Uh, Check yes or no. I sent 17 of them out. I got this one back, and it was from her, and it was awesome. So she
So
was
you
my,
sent 17 out to 17 different girls.
it might have been 13. I don't know about that. 17 is a funnier number, but I sent quite a few of them out, like a
Oh man.
little survey and stuff. And so, but she was the only one that said yes. And I was stuttering. I used to have real bad stutter, kind of stammering, and because I have a real bad speech impediment. I was attacked by a dog when I was little, so I didn't talk a whole lot, and I spit and all that stuff. So I was always afraid to talk to her. We went together almost a year before we really talked. I just would wave at her in the hall. Remember, you said yes. You wrote me. We're
Do you
boyfriends.
still have that piece of paper anywhere for where she circled yes?
No,
Oh man,
no. Would it be worth $1 million?
that'd be really
Yeah.
sweet.
I still have the picture. She gave me her. That was in the end of the 8th grade year. She gave me her freshman year pictures, like for high school. We changed pictures, and on the back of it, I wrote to my
That's
wife.
sweet.
And 15 years old, like I knew what I was getting into.
Hey, that's rare, especially these days.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been married for?
Now, T, don't.
Oh, sorry. You already said you're bad with dates. I'm sorry. That one's on me.
I want to think it's 48. It's 1976, November 1976, November the 20th. I remember that.
That's good.
There you go.
Yeah, you only have to miss that once.
And then remember it forever.
This is, I'm going to sound like I'm horrible. I always missed her birthday because it was always coming when I was traveling and I was gone. And it was in the summer, you'd be off and home. And then I would know her birthday is June 3rd. I know that, but I didn't know it was June 3rd that day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd come home and there'd be a birthday card there on the table, and I go, oh gosh. And she would get the best birthday gifts ever when that happened.
Oh yeah.
Did you learn how to explain to her, I didn't forget your birthday, I just forgot to look at a calendar? There's a difference.
Right. No, I'm hoping she hears this and she'll go, well, that's what that is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you right off the bat. How did you get into magic?
You know what? I always had an interest in that kind of stuff. But I was actually back here in Nashville, and I'm 17, 18 years old, and I was at a McDonald's, and Ronald McDonald's name was Tom Hart. He was a school teacher at McGavitt High School here in Nashville, and he was a great magician. He used to be on the old Bozo show, and
nice.
I saw him do magic, and I remember telling him that I did. I just go, how you do this? Are you really magic and stuff? Because he really did he didn't do like he did kids tricks, but he did some really good tricks. One of the tricks I do every day in my life, and every show I've ever done almost, that from him. But he said, well, you just get these books. And I kind of walked away a little sad or something enough. He felt sorry for me. He goes, what's wrong? I go, I'm not a good reader. And he goes, well, let me show you. And he showed me a sleight of hand thing, how to hide a card behind your hand. And he said, just practice that, and I'll be at this McDonald's next week. Come show me, and I'll teach you some more. And so, man, everywhere he went, I went and did everything. And then I even, if you look at Nathan's first comedy album, it's called Yelled At by a Clown. And that is me and him in the picture on the cover. Yeah. And if you look at the face, it's probably very much illegally Ronald McDonald, because of my speech, I wouldn't talk a lot regular with people, but I would be a clown, and because clowns talk funny anyway. Mm-hmm. So I would go every time he got ready for Ronald, I would go and do the exact same makeup he did and put it on at the same time. So I kind of learned how to do it, how to be a clown from Tommy, but he was also an excellent magician, great sleight of hand guy, and we just became great friends. And I've got I inherited all of his magic when he passed away doing a show for me down here in Columbia, Tennessee, at the hospital there. And he went and did it, and literally had a heart attack and died a half a mile away from the hospital.
Oh, man.
After he left, he was there.
Yeah.
He could have just had a massive heart attack. But was just a great guy. So, but magic it changed my life, because I mean, I was also left-handed in school, in Catholic schools, and they used to beat us for being left-handed. So I always just thought that I was something was wrong with me. I thought that I was stupid because I was put in special ed because of my speech and everything, and I didn't know how to use the right hand. Everybody else in my family was right-handed but me. So I didn't want to play sports or do anything like that because I couldn't throw the ball good. And I later on would get involved in sports in high school stuff, but in the beginning I didn't do any of that. But I had a gym teacher that said, all right. He told me I threw like a girl. And I go, well. And then, but when he found out about the left-handed thing, he didn't try to say, okay, stay left-handed. He just said, all right, we're going to work on your right hand. And he was great. And he was the first non-nun I ever had as a teacher. So, but he was a big influence. And I had great nuns too. I really did. People think they did it because they were mean. I think that's a little bit of it, but I think they just did it because it was a right-handed world. You know, they were trying. They were really trying to help you, but it really helped my magic, because I tell people this all the time. I won the championship in magic, and later on I became a judge, and so I was judging the championship. And one of the other judges said, "You had to sign a little waiver when you came in saying that your tricks or all this stuff." And he goes, watch that guy sign his name. And I kind of go, all right. And then I go, why did I watch him sign his name? He goes, now you know if he's right or left-handed. And so when you're judging him, you know which hand to look.
Oh, yeah.
So I went, guess what? I do all my magic left-handed.
Yeah.
But I do anything a nun can see right-handed. So that little nun made me a world champion by just beating me and stuff. So God always has a way of turning things around.
He does. Yeah, it's almost like you were forced to learn how to be ambidextrous.
That is correct.
I'm left-handed as well, but
you're going to hell, but that's all right.
Yeah, exactly. So my grandma was, I think, left-handed, and that's what the nuns told her, and they would beat her with a ruler. I mean, it's
How old
crazy.
is your grandmother? We're probably the same age.
Oh no,
she might have been in my class.
She's like, she's 90. She was 98. She's 98.
Well, tell her when I went, it was a yardstick, so they got a little better at the beating.
Yeah,
they got rid of that little ruler,
but
a little more efficient.
There you go.
You get a little more
I mean,
on it.
Trying to learn everything left-handed when everybody else is right-handed is super hard.
I can't imagine.
I ended up having to. I mean, I can bat both left and right-handed. I can throw and shoot and everything like that because I had to learn by mimicking. But it was
there was you couldn't. Where were you going to get a left-handed glove unless you knew somebody?
Yeah.
You were never going to get
golf
something
clubs.
like that.
Golf clubs. Same thing. No one heard of left-handed golf clubs before, so I just had to learn. Even though I'm horrible at golf, no matter what.
It doesn't matter which side. That's even better.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's kind of, I got involved in that. He was a great teacher, and he taught me that, because I made the mistake every kid makes. We just moved, and I got a whole room full of magic because when you're young, I bought every trick. If it fooled me, I bought it. I had to know how it was done. So I go, I'm going to buy this and do it. And I got so much junk upstairs. Tricks that I just bought and went, okay, that's how it worked. That's stupid. I'll never do that. And or it wouldn't fit my character and all that. So I got a room for it, but he kept telling me, you can only buy magic with money that you make with magic. Okay. So you got to learn to do a birthday party. You got to get a little show for kids, and then you can charge $100 for a show and not take that money and buy what you want. And he loved card sleights, and I still love card magic today. But it's hard to make a living with that. So, but it's fun. It's what keeps me. My regular show is the same. And there hasn't been a lot of changes. And in 30 years, I'm still doing 2 tricks I've always done, and I've got probably 2 more that I've done for the last 20 years. And then the other one that I got to change something. So
would you ever have any of your kids help you out with your magic, or did they kind of stay away from that?
There's great pictures of Nate. Nate, we have a great story. Nate used to go with me, and I had this one trick where for kids, I do it at Opryland even. So I would have it was a dog at that time. Normally it's a bunny rabbit. It was a dog in a big box cage, and you would say he's going to put him in there, and there's bones away over here, but over here you're going to put the dog in his house, and then he's going to disappear. But then you would see the dog run across, and the kids would scream at you that he's eating the bones, and you never saw it. And when you go in here and you look, and you run back and you open it up and go, no, he's not. So it was it's a fun, kids love it. So I decided, I got Nate. I go, you're going to be the audience. It's going to be me and you. I'm going to fight you. And so you see the dog. I'll never see the dog. And so instead of trying to get the whole audience involved, I'll just get little Nate to do it. And Nate got his first experience of stage fright. He just started whispering and going like this where nobody could see. And it just like, what? So then this is even worse. So the dog will disappear. So now I'm on my own. So I get them involved. There's a bag that has full of hot dogs, and I tell everybody the secret. There's 2 dogs. So the other dogs is in that bag. I show it empty. When I set it down, now it has an extra dog in it. It's behind me. Well, I made the mistake of putting Nate up on the stage while I'm doing my show next to a microphone. So he's just watching. But right in the middle of all of this, the dog's running across. He notices the extra dog. And then he starts screaming in the microphone. There's another dog. He's already in the bag. I can see him right now. There he is, Dad. Right there. And I'm like, oh, crap.
Oh, buddy.
You can't do that. But Nate was always really funny. And Nate did skits with us. And I would get in. We would do a lot of skits, clown skits in our church. And Nate was awesome. Yeah. He loved Ernest Goes to Camp and all the Ernest music.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah, and he could imitate that guy perfect. And he loved Steve Urkel. He could do that voice and everything. So he was always that, and we would dress him up, and he was perfect. I got to get those videos out someday and embarrass him really bad with all those. But now I got 7 grandkids. I'm really thinking I got all this stuff, but none of them's really taken up an interest in wanting to do it or anything in it, and so who knows what's going to happen. But if any of them ever decide, I got a whole house full of stuff they can have.
That's cool. Well, maybe one day they'll change your mind.
You never know.
And you have 2 other kids.
We have 3 because we didn't want 4. And, we had Nathan, and then I went back to college, and then we had Derek while we were there. And when I graduated college, I ended up in Del Rio, Texas. I taught school for a while. And they had a school down there that they did not want you to learn English, and I fit that. I mean Spanish, and I thought, well, I cannot learn Spanish as good as anybody. And but I had a good friend named Radney Foster, and he was a member of Foster and Lloyd, and still a great country music artist. I used to open up for him, but his parents lived there, so I moved in with them. And Carol and Nathan and Derek, we all came down there, and we lived about a year and a half in Texas. And so I mean, I don't know what my point was for all this, but it was, then she started deciding that we wanted a little girl. And, I'm sorry, that she wanted a little girl. And I was fine with just giving it up. But so Abigail is 9 years younger than Nate.
Oh, wow.
Which is maybe 10 even, but that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So Derek had to get beat up by Nate, and then he beat up Abigail all the time. And so Derek and Abigail are way closer but now Abigail works with Nate. So, I mean, it's really great that Nate's very kind and taking her in, and they're going to kill each other eventually. But we have there are 3 great kids, and have 7 grandkids. Derek, I always say my kids. We've been so blessed. I don't know. Nathan does what I do at a way higher level than I ever did, and great. Derek did what I always thought I should do. He was a missionary, and he lived in Uganda for a couple of years, and he still has a place over there and an orphanage, and he works over there. They have 4 kids because there's not a lot to do in Uganda, so they just have kids. But so it's kind of like, and now he's a principal of a school, vice principal, and still does very involved in ministry and everything. Mm-hmm. So I always felt like that's what I always felt like I should be doing. Abigail was worked at the VA hospital, which that's another thing I should do, and I love doing it. I do a lot of shows for the veterans, and I did a lot of things with. It's not the USO, but it's like that. But it's just an organization that goes over there, and we do shows. I've been in Afghanistan. I've been in Iraq, and I've been to Djibouti. And how great is it to say Djibouti? and
it's not every day.
Not every day. So she did that for a long time, and then Nathan offered her a job, and so all my kids are doing better than I could ever expect and want, and it's just a 100% blessing on all of it.
That's great.
What do you feel like is different about being a dad versus being a grandpa so far? Like, what's the difference between those two roles for you so far?
Yeah, I don't have to pay for college. And if they don't go to college and do all that, it's not on me.
It's not your fault.
You just got a certain worry and responsibility. But when you get grandkids, it's like my first grandchild was Derek had her, and her name was Esther. And me and my wife both went, oh gosh, that's an old lady's name. I don't want to call her Esther. And we just thought that's terrible. And then when we saw her, we were, oh my God, that's Esther. And she's beautiful. She's a perfect Esther, and very smart. And then my daughter had a little boy named Caleb. Esther is book wise and stuff. Caleb is street wise. He's got on the road. I mean, he can do everything. But I remember when they got back from Uganda, they had never had candy.
Oh, wow.
They never had like a soda pop or anything like that. They couldn't even take showers or baths because running water would scare them at first.
And how old were they when they moved back?
Yeah, they were there. I mean, one was left right after she was probably 2 months old, and the other one was like 2 or 3. They're like 11, 12, 13 months apart or something. I don't know. I'm going to get in trouble for trying to guess. You're just trying to get me. One of my first presents for my wife is I got her a monogram sweater, and I put the wrong middle initial.
Oh, no.
But it's it was horrible. My mom's best friend growing up was Carol Ann something. And so Carol, my wife is Carol Lynn, but I used to call her Carol Ann. I would tell people that. So it wasn't the first time but this time I bought 3 sweaters because they were on sale. And so she ended up cutting grass because she would never wear them out, and the word cab written across the chest and stuff. So I made a permanent thing about it.
That's
but I would
roll with the punches.
That's right. I would put M&Ms in my pocket and sneak it to them, and the hardest part was getting them not to tell on me. And
of course.
Stuff. And eventually they realized, okay, if we say something, we don't get anything. And so it was just a great connection that we had, that me and my wife had. And it's kind of funny that they thought we were listening to everything they said. Like, we eat dirt and grass and nothing else, so we don't eat this stuff. And we were taking them like the worst places ever. And just go, I don't know why they can't sleep tonight. But it's such amazing. Each one of them has a special story and anything in it. Right now, Abigail is adopting a boy named Skylar, and he was abandoned on the streets. He's severely autistic, and he needs a lot of care. And it's something that, I think that God gave us him for a purpose, because we're in a position where we could give him help and give him school. And him and my wife have bonded like 2 people I've never seen. I mean, they are like best friends all the time. And
that's cool.
And so it's pretty awesome to see that. He doesn't like me, but he likes everybody else.
He'll get there.
He'll get there. He will take my finger now. He used to not. He's 4.
Oh, okay.
But he's nonverbal but he's perfect. He's awesome. He's very happy. He's just a happy kid, but but he likes to be left alone and do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. We're all a little bit on the spectrum.
There's sometimes I'm also like, can you just not talk to me for a little bit? That'd be fun. I'll probably be better if that happens.
That's why you keep throwing it to Justin.
There you go.
Sorry, Justin. Yeah, so I mean, grandparents, you're going to hear this, and you're not going to know it until you see it. But it's like, it is so different when you become grandparents, and it's the greatest feeling ever.
Yeah,
it's almost like, I mean, it's part of it. Like, this is your eternity. I'm gonna live on. I'm gonna go on. Like, this is it, and you know, it's and you will not know it until you have one, until you hold your first grandchild.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go, man, all that stuff everybody says is 1,000% right. It's really, really special.
Did you, when your first grandkids were born, did you fly over to Uganda
No,
so you could see them?
They came. That was the first time they came back home. To have her here because of the health care that they have there.
Sure.
And so they came, all my grandkids were born here in down at Baptist Hospital and Centennial and all around here. So everybody, Nathan was born at Baptist Hospital and Abigail and Derek. So we're all kind of, they start where we start.
Cool. Yeah. That's fun.
Nathan has a joke, just like turtles. You're going to start, we're going to come back to, because Nathan, he lived in New York, but they arranged it so that they would be here when they gave birth. So
that's cool.
So he always says he didn't want her to be born in New York and grow up think she's better than him. So you're coming back to where we all start.
It's a kid. She will think that she's better than him, just for different reasons.
Yeah.
You got to limit the reasons why you think your kid will think that they're better than you whenever you can, right?
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but the funny thing about dads and stuff, and just maybe to the dad, I didn't have a great father. Bless his heart. And he had like a stroke and something, and when he was in the Korean War, he lost his eyesight in one eye, and he just started drinking all the time. And he just wasn't really a happy person unless he was drinking. Mm-hmm. And most of my memories of him being drunk every day, and sometimes at Christmas and all that, we'd have to go get him out of jail and do all of that, and him and my mom fighting all the time. My wife had the exact same experience. Her father, I thought her father, my dad wasn't that violent unless my mom told him to be, but her dad, I thought, was really loud and mean, but I don't think he beat him, but he was he could ruin anything with his drinking, and he did that a lot. So he would drink more than my dad. Drank a lot, but my dad was a beer drinker, or he was a beer. Then he would change the whiskey in the afternoon and stuff. So we both didn't grow up with fathers, and we both grew up with mothers that was very, very intimidated. And my mom had to be everything, and she did become the violent, more stuff. She hit me for everything that ever happened in our house, whether it was my fault or not, whether I was home or not. It was always my fault. Mm-hmm. And so me and her, we never got along. And that was partly why I ran away, and just to get away. And it's terrible, but I hated her when I left. Yeah. And I didn't know anything about her. And then we were in Texas when my dad died, and I wasn't even going to go home because I almost went 12 years without talking to my brothers and sisters, without any of them. I was down here. Ronnie was taking care of me, and I got married, and Nathan was born, and all of this. And I go, why do I want to go back and bring up all that? But I did, and I'm so glad, because I really got to meet his and her family at the funeral and see things I didn't know. Yeah. If my grandfather was an alcoholic, and his grandfather, I see that I thought it was because he lost his eyesight or something that he drank. He was just depressed, but it's part of who he was. So I also know, okay, I can't do this.
Yep. Yeah.
Because it's in my DNA. I can't mess with this stuff at all. Yep. Yeah. And because I had a brother that did and ended up just like him. And my sisters married, two of them married alcoholics.
Yeah.
And so I'm going, all right, I knew what not to do. Yeah. More than I knew what to do. When we started having kids, we didn't know anything. I was like you. We didn't have the grandparents
Yeah.
The watch them and all of that. Ronnie was coaching basketball and busy, and so it was me. We had to take Nate everywhere we went. He went, and all my kids, as always, they just went with us everywhere.
Yep.
Which means we didn't go anywhere unless kids ate free. And, that was about it. And you're going to drink water. I'll tell you that. We had all those rules.
My mom had a very similar upbringing where her dad, my grandpa, was an alcoholic and violent, and my grandmother gave her money, and at 18 said leave in the middle of the night. She left and went and joined the military.
Oh wow.
And but she had a very similar story where before he died, he changed, he stopped drinking, and she was able to rekindle that relationship before he died. But he ended up having like 2 heart attacks and a stroke because of the amount of alcohol that he had.
Right. That's what killed both my dad and my wife's dad, was just the drinking. And I did get to reconnect with my mom, but it was actually the day before she died.
Oh.
Yeah.
And, but we kind of, I found out some things about my mom that nobody knew. I found out why she ran away, and I, and as an adult, I changed my life. I become a Christian, so I go home and I to my Catholic mom, and I go, let me just tell you, you're going to hell, and you better straighten your life out. You need Jesus, and that's not a good way to talk about that. And when you started off, so she hated me every time I go. I'd make it worse.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really understand for a long time. My mom needed, she needed mercy more and grace. I was always,
grace.
I forgave my mom, and but I never took my kids around her. I did a couple times, and she would treat them. I see little things that she would do to them like she did to me, and what would happen to me. And I go, well, she's not doing that to them.
Yeah.
So I never let them get around her.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that means I didn't get around my brothers and sisters. I didn't ever see any of this stuff. But she was always afraid I would tell everybody her secret, and then all that. And I understand all that.
Yeah.
But the day I went in to see her, I really thought that God was giving me a chance to hear her tell me she's sorry.
Yeah.
I go, well, that's good. She doesn't know Nate. She didn't know my kids, and she doesn't know all that. She didn't know my life. And I go, this will be great. She'll get to tell me she's sorry. So she got COVID, and she was in the nursing home. He couldn't even get in, but luckily somehow I got in. And as soon as I saw her, she was hooked up to everything, and she just started crying. She couldn't talk, but it wasn't for her. It was for me. I needed to tell her I'm sorry. I said, I'm sorry that I wasn't a better son. I'm sorry I didn't make you kneel my kids. And I was a punk. I was in special ed. I didn't do good in school. I ended up going to college afterwards because of Ronnie, but when I was with her, I didn't do anything. I stole an automobile when I was a teenager. I ran away all the time. I made her life miserable, and she needed me to say she's sorry. She was never going to tell me she's sorry. She couldn't.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what? It was okay. I just needed her to know that to please forgive me. And I think it was a great moment, and we prayed and talked together. So I feel good about it.
I'm really glad you got to have that moment. As a kid, it's easy to be like, why are my parents doing this? This doesn't make any sense. I don't understand them at all. And then you do reach a point in which you go through similar stuff that they probably went through, but you deal with it differently. And then you realize like, oh, I feel like I understand my parents a lot differently than I did before. And I probably should look at them and say, thank you for what you did for me. I'm sorry, this is how I reacted to it, but I understand what you were trying to do. And just figure it out.
Yeah, they come from dysfunctional homes too.
Yeah.
And stuff. So they can have all the problems. I was very lucky to get with Ronnie, and he was my first cousin. My dad and his dad were brothers, and so I got to see what a godly man lives like and what he does. He didn't drink, he didn't curse, he didn't. He may do all that now, but he didn't around me. So it was just a great example for me to see him. I remember the first time when I was living with him, I did something wrong. And I think I took they got me a car, and I took it somewhere. I lied where I was at, and I lied where I was going. I think I drove to Louisville, which I shouldn't have done, and met my wife, who was my girlfriend at that time. And I told her I was going over a friend's house. And I remember when they found out, she just she just cried, and she said, "I can't believe you would lie to me." And I'm going, just hit me, pick up beat me to death or whatever, and we'll be fine. Don't cry. And I knew I never would lie to her again or anything like that. I never knew that. That wasn't how I grew up.
Yeah.
But I think all that helped me to be a better father.
Yeah.
And, for Nathan and them. And in my business, it's hard to be. People don't know I'm an entertainer and I traveled a lot, and it's hard to be home. Nathan's fighting all that now because you have to be a father from away sometimes. You have to have a super strong wife that has insurance. If you lose my life, and that's just a joke.
True.
That's true.
That's true though.
And she's got to do everything for the fun. And then you're gone, and then you come home. You want to be the fun guy. I've been gone. I want to go do everything. Everything you do is fun, and life's not that way.
Nope.
Yeah.
And so when Nathan and Derek at the right time, I did that. I kind of put my career on the hold, and that's when I taught school and I started working for the Athletic Association and would still do magic, but I did it in Tennessee so I could be home more. I wanted to coach him and be him and be the things that that maybe I didn't get. I don't know.
Yeah. My dad has told me before, because his dad was a World War II veteran, alcoholic, bipolar, a lot of issues with him. And I know that like a lot of the parenting decisions he made were more, this is what my dad did to me. I really didn't like that. How do I make sure not to do that to my own children? Yep. And it takes a lot of, it's like you're going against the inertia that's already there. Because if you have a family of alcoholism and stuff like that, someone at some point in time has to stop that energy, stop that inertia.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And congratulate, well done for being able to figure out how to do that. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, again, I think God gets all the credit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not strong enough to do that stuff. But I believe, I trust and believe everything you just said 1,000%. It's breaking that family curse and just hope it goes on from here. At least they know and stuff. But we were strict. We didn't know what to do. And Nathan made a joke that he got we became Christians in the 80s, and he said that's when they were the most Christians and stuff. That's when you can't listen to that music. You can't. I mean, I was just doing what I was told. I didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't let them watch The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And everybody watched The Simpsons, but ain't no way. That little Bart is a little smart aleck.
Yeah.
And I used to be like Bart, and I don't want you to be like Bart. I don't want you to look up to Bart.
Yes.
So we wouldn't let him watch that. I didn't let him watch scary movies, and we didn't let what he had a pretty good life. Living growing up that way. It wasn't that bad and stuff. He could go see Michael W. Smith and Amy Grant and all those people. Those are all the people he went to. He turned out all right.
That sounds very similar to how my mom was. She did not let me watch Simpsons. I would watch it anyways, just be on her back.
I don't even want to know if Nathan and them watched. One day, all my kids were talking about things they did that we didn't know about. I go, I don't want to hear none of this.
They got to get it off their shoulders sometimes. That's how it was for me as well. Like, Mom, I did a lot of stuff you had no idea I did.
Yeah, it's going to come back at you too.
Yep. I am. Oh man, I gave because my dad was in the military, went to Vietnam and was in the reserves. Worked for Procter and Gamble and had to go to Thailand, China, Brazil, all these other places. So my mom was basically my only parent for a good portion. And I gave her so much hell. It was, I feel so bad for it, but I am.
Is your mom still alive?
Oh yeah, she is still alive.
When you go over there this afternoon, you take that lady out.
Well, they're coming in town this Friday, and
good deal.
So
you hug her neck.
Get to see my dad. I'm taking my dad to the Vanderbilt UK basketball game. So.
Oh, look at you! That's a good ticket to get.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a UK graduate, so.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to be wearing the wrong colors.
No. UK all the way.
Oh man.
No, I'm from Indiana, so I'm an IU fan, so this is the biggest point of contention in our friendship.
Yes,
and it should be.
Yes, That's right. Granted, Justin does get to say that Kentucky has won a national championship or 4 in his lifetime, where I haven't. No. So
there was a time. You do have a banner in your.
We have 5. You know, we got 5 of them. You know,
we got 8.
It's fine.
No big deal.
For now, I think there's Velcro on a couple of them, though.
No.
I'm pretty sure when Indiana got it, the goals were only 9 foot. But,
and there were only 5 schools playing, so
there wasn't that many.
Well, I've told this story multiple times. You were talking about wearing the wrong color. I snuck into, this was in 2011, the year that we actually won the championship through Calipari, but we played Vanderbilt. I worked for Jersey Mike's. We were catering to the concession stands. So I snuck in with my wife, wearing Vanderbilt stuff and Jersey Mike stuff at first. Went down to the student section of Vanderbilt with my wife and waited until the game started. We sat next to a couple of friends of ours, and as soon as the game started, we took off our Vanderbilt stuff, and it was all blue.
My wife would have hated you.
Well, everybody hated us. Oh man. We had the mascot come and try to kick us out. They got security to come. Luckily, my wife went to Vanderbilt, so we both had student IDs. I talked to my friends and said, hey, I think we're going to get kicked out. Give me your tickets real fast. They gave us our tickets, and when the security came down, they looked at our student IDs and looked at our tickets and said, we can't do anything. We can't kick them out. And everybody was like, boo.
Boo.
But
what kind of a person are you? I'm going to do this, Justin.
I wanted to see basketball, my UK basketball.
Vanderbilt beat UK when they were number 1 twice, I think, in history. Yeah, I was at both of those.
Yeah, the SEC championship
title game.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then we won the NCAA title.
Yeah. I mean, you had 2 losses that year. One of them was to Indiana. One of them was to Vanderbilt.
Yes, both of you guys.
That's a great day.
Oh man, I was so angry for that Indiana game.
Well, my wife got, because of Ronnie, she worked at the ticket office. Yeah, and so she hated Kentucky and UT because they would buy tickets just so they could give them away to the visiting teams the whole season, just so they can go to that one game. Yeah, and stuff. They did it in football and basketball and stuff. But we had her own nephew, Coach Stallings, gave him his tickets.
Oh, cool.
And he only had one rule: can't you wear Kentucky, and you can't even cheer for him. And he promised. And before halftime, he took his shirt off. He had the Kentucky thing on, and that was the end of my free tickets. Never got another ticket again.
Oh no!
Do you see, Justin? Do you see what being a fan of Kentucky costs you sometimes?
Yeah, it does. You have to pay a lot.
It's worth it. It is worth it.
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
Stephen, how we end the episode is we ask the guests 5 questions just to kind of wrap things up and everything. Justin will ask the first question.
First question, do you, and if you don't curse, but do you have any backup curse words? Like cheese and biscuits or something like that?
No. Ours is dadgummit.
Dadgummit.
Dadgummit is the main thing that we use more, and we use idiot a lot.
There you go.
Idiot. You know what? It was really one of the things, my wife was a bad cusser in high school and stuff because her dad and everybody was. I never, when I kind of became a Christian at first, that was the first thing that was gone. I never cursed. My parents cursed. All my family did. But it was funny. Me and Nathan was on Good Morning America, and he was asking Nathan that question and me about, do you ever curse on your own accidentally and stuff? And we just don't as a family. I don't know. Probably Abigail might do it more than anybody because she's a girl. She's going to try to break your heart. But none of us really do that much, and that I've ever heard. I've never heard Nathan or Derek, my son. I've never heard.
Nathan's been known for like his clean comedy, which
Well, they asked us. They go, "What would happen if you hit your with a hammer?"
Yeah,
and it's on Good Morning. You can find that tape, and at the exact same time, he goes, "What would you say?" Me and Nathan both went, "Dadgummit." That's exactly what I would say.
What does dadgummit even mean? I've never even looked it up.
It's just shoot. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Gosh. Stuff. I used to get mad. Was it freaking? Everybody used to say
freaking. Yeah.
Yeah, I hated that word even and stuff when they were saying. I know what you mean when you're trying to say. You're just saying that because you don't want to say what you know we're going to kill you over. Yep. So even their parents, we didn't let. And Nathan said, I mean, the word. I remember one time he came in and told on Derek said the S word, and we're thinking the poop word or something. I'm going, oh my God, I get him in there and he said sucks. He said Derek said this sucks. And then you go, okay, we might allow that one a little bit.
My parents did not allow sucks when I was little either.
I like your parents.
I was like,
but you know what? It was just, I don't know. And we still don't. I don't ever think of a curse. I don't ever. It's just something blank. I don't drink.
I am bad at cussing now, but
you are.
But when Justin, in high school, yeah, I know. In high school, when my dad had to got reactivated for the Iraq War and went down to Jacksonville, Florida, my mom had a church intern because my mom worked at the church.
Right.
She had a church intern live with us during the summertime, and he would, every time that I would cuss, slap me upside the back of the head. He was like, "You're not going to cuss in front of me," and I'm like, "Okay." So I stopped. I stopped after that. But then
so now we all, Devin, guess what your job is?
That's right. Yeah. Somehow reach over there, smack him upside the head.
Smack him upside the head.
That's awesome. Next question: do you have a favorite TV dad?
It sounds terrible, but it was Bill Cosby growing up because he just the wisdoms and the thing. But I really would, and I almost really have to. I even say more than him was Andy Griffith.
Yeah,
because Andy Griffith, just had so much wisdom and stuff. My favorite one is the one with where the guy who ends up being in Beverly Hillbillies, but he's a wandering hobo, and he teaches Opie how to steal gum out of the gum machine and how to do all of that. And he tells Andy that he goes, "What's wrong with telling a kid a little bit how to get along and to try a little thing in life and enjoy life and have a little fun? What's wrong with all this?" And Andy's answer is everybody should be, he goes, because he's going to jump at every little shiny thing that happens. Because he had a fishing lure, he took it. That was part of it. He goes, he's going to get his shit. He goes, my job as a father is to keep them from being bit and taking something that's wrong, and it's going to hurt them later on in life. And it was a great point and stuff. So definitely, I would say definitely Andy Griffith. But my kids watching it and they watched Andy Griffith, but also growing up, my kids watched Bill Cosby all the time.
Yeah.
Remember the one with Monopoly money, where Bill teaches his kids, he gives them Monopoly money, and he get whatever, a couple $1,000, and then he just goes in life. He goes, "What are you going to?" He goes, "I need some new shoes." He takes $100 back.
Yeah.
And he just do them. And by the end, he has nothing. He goes, "That's life."
That's how life works, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Next question: do you have a least favorite kid show? It could be from show that your kids watch, or one that your kids watch.
I don't understand them now. I mean, my cartoons, they beat each other in the head and drop hammers on them and hit them, all that stuff. I loved all that stuff, and I think we all turned out all right. I don't get everything that, but we were lucky. I didn't like the Ninja Turtles. I liked the Ninja Turtles. I wasn't against them. It was definitely Bart Simpson. I just didn't like his attitude.
Yeah,
and that he had towards his parents and kids and teachers and everything. I just thought, well, he's a smart aleck. And so that was the only one I would really just put my foot down on and say we're not going to do it, and stuff. So, but I've seen Cliff and stuff. I like Homer. Homer's got a good attitude. It was just Bart.
That's fair.
I couldn't say it, but I remember a lot of people wouldn't let watch Ninja Turtles. I like Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah.
Next question: Do you have a favorite activity or toy you used to play with your kids a lot, or some activity you guys would do together all the time?
It was always just sports and stuff.
Okay.
We would play wiffle ball, but they loved baseball. Nathan was a very good catcher, one of the best I've seen ever at playing. Then Derek was a great pitcher, and so that made sense. They would work together and do all that stuff. And so just growing up and doing that, they loved to play basketball and stuff. But we're game people.
Okay.
On Christmas Eve, we get together and we always buy a new game and we play it all night and things like that. And we still do all that stuff. But Risk, we've had some almost murders on Risk. Between the kids, right. Nathan and Derek would go at it over that game. But we just love games and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
All right, last question. A subject you feel like you know a lot about since becoming a dad.
Since becoming a dad.
Yeah.
I don't know. What subject? I don't feel like I can talk what I do and with authority and everything, and I know it. All the other stuff, a lot of times I feel like I'm lost in some of this world, especially what they talk about, my grandkids and all of that. I like to try to pay attention to what they like. They like, my granddaughters like Harry Potter, and they liked Lord of the Rings and that stuff. So they like that Wicket now. And so I go see all that with them. Oh, cool. So I kind of want to know, because I want to have something. I have another idea. My third grandchild, she is just an avid reader. She reads. So she's read all the Harry Potter books twice or three times, and she reads every book. So I love just talking to them about it and everything. So I want to keep in touch with all of that. So I try to keep up on all what they're kind of going on. But there's a lot that's happening that I have no idea. I don't know TikTok. They're trying to take it off. It ain't going to hurt me one bit.
Yeah, and, I'm right there with you. I have never used TikTok.
No, I'm not an Instagram person either. But it's on my phone. But I don't know. I just know it's there. What was the other one? I think was it Twitter? One of them.
Twitter,
After 10 years, I had one follower. And so maybe I had one share. I only shared one thing, and it was what somebody else said. I go, well, I don't need all that stuff.
I don't know what to do with this.
So I'm not the best. I probably wish I was better and all that stuff.
You're fine.
But I like to just keep up with what interests my grandkids.
That's cool. I do have to share one personal story about Nate's stand-up. So for our third kid, we had to be induced because he was 10 days late. And my wife had to do like Pitocin, induced labor, all that fun stuff. So we were trying to think of something we could do that would distract us while she was going through contractions, basically. And I was like, you know what? Everyone keeps telling me to watch Nate Bargatze stand up. Let's watch Nate Bargatze stand up. So I forget which one it was, but we were all laughing throughout it. Like our doula, me and her, we were laughing through all of it, distracting ourselves from her contractions, basically. And at some point in time, she just started saying water, 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 water. And I was like, do you really need a cup of water right now? And she was like, no, my water just broke while I was laughing at that joke.
That gave me chills. How awesome. It wasn't the one about don't shake the baby.
I don't think so. It would have been in 2021. So I'm not sure which stand-up it was, but no.
Tennessee Kid,
maybe. Your family and Nate have been able to create comedy and entertainment that is fun to be wrapped up in and to like laugh about it and then have shared moments of like life around. So thanks a ton.
And that's exactly what his goal is too. It's just like he's a guy you would hang out with, and it's the same things that you've lived with. We've done all that. My parents are stupid or whatever.
But just had to make sure with that opportunity to share that story with you.
But that's an awesome story. I will make sure. I will tell him.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And my wife will love
it. Only other thing, do you like if we want to find out more about you, if we want to come to a magic show you're doing, what's a good way to learn more about you? Is it a website? It's clearly not TikTok or Twitter.
No. I kind of retired from doing schools and all that stuff, and then I went a tour with Nate on the Be Funny tour. I did 127 shows with him, and now I want to retire from that. So I try to go to Vegas every time he goes to Vegas, just because it's just a fun. It was one of the first places that in a big theater that we got to go share and do a show together. But I'm missing the next two because of I'm getting a lot of shows lately. And I don't know, because of him. Yeah. People call and they want him, they can't afford him. And then his manager goes, well, you can get his dad. He's pretty cheap.
He ain't bad.
But Magic of Stephen, one word, magicofstephen.com. But I really don't put anything on there. Okay. That's really, my daughter is now, she works with Nate, but she also has me. Mm-hmm. I know a couple things coming up. This Sunday, I'm at Zany's, but I think it's already sold out.
Nice.
And it's a preview of my Nathan and Derek and Abigail decided that they were going to put their money, and I hate that, they were going to film my special.
Oh, great. Cool. That's awesome.
So Nathan is there to pick up any messes they make. But I've got to sell 600 tickets, so that's very scary to me. Nathan can do it in 2 minutes, but not even 2 minutes. But so that is May the 18th, and that's going to be at the Franklin Theater. And I don't think it has been released yet, but a lot of times if you go to the Nateland, there's a Nateland podcast fan page. They talk about me a lot, and they'll say stuff on there. And Nathan talks about it on the podcast if I'm coming out. Zany's, if you keep track, I'm supposed to be doing once a month at Zany's. Oh, cool. My next one's February 23rd, but most of those are hosting where I'm just the guy, and I might do a couple things and stuff like that though. But I should do better, but
you're doing okay.
I'm out there.
You were doing great.
You know, you have a really good chance to see me if you go to my Publix, because I like to go to stores. I like to go to the Publix. I used to get people always say, "Can I meet your son?" I go, "Just go to Kroger down the street. You have a better chance to see him there than you would trying to wait in line." That's awesome. Or fight all that crap.
Just know he gets snacky sometimes. Post up at Kroger.
Go to
You'll find him.
Those are the McDonald's by his house. There's a great chance that he'll be there.
That's awesome. Well, Stephen, that's all we've got for you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Okay. Really appreciate it.
Oh, no. It was awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Great meeting both of you guys.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you a lot for your time.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Stephen.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thanks so much for listening. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Nashville Dads. And make sure to follow us on anywhere you find your podcast, and please give us a 5-star rating. And thank you to Matt Oakes for providing the music for the episode. Catch you next time.